I'll watch The Recruit
Yeah.
before I watch
All
Jack
right,
Ryan.
then I'll take Jack Ryan.
Yeah, dude, I really enjoyed the shit out of it. I can't believe I binged almost straight through it. He is not a spy. He's a lawyer at the CIA. And so there's a whole team of lawyers, and their job is to not go in the field. Their job is to look over the plans of the crazy fucks who are about to go in the field and tell them what not to do. So one of the first other lawyers he meets is a guy who's clearly been awake for like 3 days and is like basically trading favors for Adderall because his away team is waiting for him to pass out so that they can start a mission that he expressly told them not to fucking do. But they know that once they start it, he'll have to damage control it. He can't stop them. And so like literally like at one point in the show, they go into that lawyer's office and he's asleep face down in a sandwich. And he peels his sandwich, like they wake him up and he's like, what fucking day is it? And peels the sandwich open and there's just crushed Ambien throughout his sandwich. And he's like, those psycho motherfuckers, god damn it.
Episode 417 of the TV Dudes recorded January 4th, 2023. National Treasure, Edge of History. This week, we return to the business of watching TV with just one show, the continuation of Nicolas Cage's National Treasure series, minus Nicolas Cage, but plus a young diverse cast in Disney's National Treasure, Edge of History. But we're also going to check in on 1923, the latest Yellowstone prequel over on Paramount+. But before we get to all that, I'm Randy.
I'm Les.
And I'm Nick.
And we're the TV Dudes. So, new year, we are slightly tweaking the format. We've already sort of been doing this, but we are officially changing the format to be one main show each week, and then everything else will be side dishes.
The main course.
The main course. And so this week we are getting around to National Treasure, but we are also going to talk about 1923. There were a couple other things that slipped under our radar. We are going to talk about Letterkenny, but Les has not had a chance to watch it yet, and we don't want to spoil anything because there's Letterkenny's with a few pure joys left in this horrible hellscape world.
I haven't watched any of it yet either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sorry, Randy.
I am surprised that I am ahead on Letterkenny because both of y'all like that show more than me, and I love that show, but y'all definitely like it more than me.
Yes, we do, but I think me and Les got our itch done with Shoresy. We did a rewatch of Shoresy.
Yeah, having just rewatched Shoresy so soon.
I didn't feel the intense need I normally would, I think.
Yeah.
So yes, and dessert may return at some point. We just don't have any right now. At some point we'll have a show that we're so excited about we're going to be watching every week. We just don't have one right now.
When's Marvel's next thing?
I don't even know, man. I don't think they've announced it. I mean, I know what I think it's this year.
Well, Vox Machina comes back in January, so.
Well, I mean, the Hawkeye, the season 2 of Hawkeye's been real dark.
I thought that was season 2 of
Mayor of Kingstown.
Yeah.
No, that actually tracks. That's a lot.
Fits right.
That feels a lot more.
Man, you tell me that character got run over by a snowplow. I'm like, okay, which one of the prisoners
Wow,
did
I
it?
can't believe you guys would laugh at that man's misfortune on mic. Do it off mic like a regular person.
No, I wouldn't laugh at his misfortune, but he's okay now, so it's okay.
But he's okay.
He's posted about it.
Yeah. I'm glad Jeremy Renner's okay. I
genuinely am hoping that definitely not mocking. There actually were people though. I think James Gunn posted like our hearts are with Jeremy Renner, and like there was an immediate comment of like some Snyder bro that was like our hearts are with Henry Cavill.
Yeah. Oh
like,
my god.
Wow,
Yeah.
Dude, not the same thing.
Y'all,
not
damn.
the same thing.
My Facebook feed is so full because I'm a comics fan. My Facebook feed is constantly suggesting me these Snyder bro pages, and I swear there's hundreds of them. They're like cockroaches, and every one of them is in this delusional world of like Henry Cavill's going to come back, and Henry and Ben Affleck are really working together. I'm like, guys, you are the only ones who care about this.
QAnon craziness of like Cavill and Affleck are off in a secret lab making good DC movies? Are they?
It's proof of the concept that there's just the echo chamber, like the loudest like voices are not the voice of the many, because obviously Snyder fans have not been bringing in the money for WB because they've annexed them.
Yes.
Nope. Now we're making movies that you guys are gonna hate because obviously that's what is making Marvel money.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. All right. Let's have our first TV, not TV diary. I keep forgetting what the name of it is now.
Appetizers.
No, not appetizers. Is it appetizers? Appetizers. Yes. Our first appetizers of the year.
Smooth way to start the year.
I mean, that fits.
Speaking of segues,
I went full on tapas with my appetizers in the new year. We've had a couple weeks here before we recorded our best of, and then I just been watching TV like crazy. So I started doing my recaps of the Marvel Universe, the Phase 4 stuff. So I rewatched Falcon and Winter Soldier all in one go. And I really still like that show. I don't understand the hate. I think a lot of people say it's like the worst Marvel show.
Oh my god!
I just still think it's really good.
I mean,
I've heard a lot of people sort of
Russian bots
comment on it.
I don't know.
I guess
insane.
I mean, I would think WandaVision is the worst one just because it's kind of like, and not even that it's bad. It's just that it's out.
Everybody loves WandaVision.
No, you're completely correct.
Except us.
You're provably. I can show my work on this.
Oh, okay, well then the next, like the second worst one is. Oh shit, that's actually hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I
guess Falcon and Winter Soldier. Falcon and Winter Soldier.
All the rest are fine.
Yeah.
They've only had one misstep.
Next up for me is Loki. I'm looking forward to rewatching that.
Oh fuck, Loki, baby.
I did finish Fleischman is in Trouble, and I'm here to report to y'all that she is alive.
Wow, that's it. That's
and I believe she is the worst person in the world.
That's great.
But episode 7, if y'all don't mind me spoiling a thing,
you know what? I'm one away from the end. I've seen almost all of it.
Oh, you got
seen
it?
So you've seen the Claire Danes episode?
Yes. Yeah.
So here's the thing: the Claire Danes episode was really, really good, and she was giving an incredible performance. But I still spent that entire thing thinking, yeah, that's rough for you, but you still abandon your kids.
Yeah,
they do an honestly astonishingly thorough job of making you understand why she did that.
Yeah,
but it doesn't justify it.
Yeah,
and that's a weird line to walk, because like, I mean, like Fleischman's a dick. I mean, like, in her episode, like he's not wrong. I mean, on the one hand, it's kind of remarkable. Like I still understood his position, but also he doesn't come across great. Like he's also a dick, and like you can't. As with every point they've ever shown in their relationship, you wonder the entire fucking time how these people ever dated.
Well, also, from what I watched of it, he might be a dick, but obviously he's the responsible one as far as this is not the first time she's done this. She's disappeared before. Like
we'll have to circle back to this when you've seen episode 8 less, because I really enjoyed episode 8, which I thought was trying to sort of balance what we now all knew about everybody. And maybe it's going through a recent breakup, maybe colors things, but I was literally yelling at my television watching episode 8.
Well, I kind of
owe a fucking apology.
I kind of enjoyed realizing through episode 7 that like, this is why the friend has been narrating the entire show. Like this is not about Fleischman. This is deflection from her needing to write about her own life and do her own thing. And like,
it was her book that they based it on.
Yes. And realizing that like with her backstory with Christian Slater as the douche author, and realizing like, so this is your weird way around that of like, you realize that the lit industry is just this dude bro. And so you're still going to have to write about a guy.
Yeah.
Well, but you're going to make it Fleischman.
But do you remember?
I was like, that's kind of cool.
A few years ago, there was a big talk about how there were all the shows on TV were these male anti-heroes. You know, Breaking Bad, The Shield, and everyone was rooting for these guys, and no one was realizing that they were terrible. Maybe including the people running the show. I feel like Fleischman in Trouble is almost a gender flip of that, because they realize that Fleischman's a piece of shit. But I'm watching it, and again, recent breakup. I'm thinking that Lizzie Kaplan's character is also kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah. No, when her friends, like when Adam Brody has to sit her down and like, dude, he's going to divorce you.
Yeah, you were rude to your husband.
You need to. Why are you at this party with us? You need to leave this bar and go apologize to your husband. And she's like, "What the fuck are you assholes talking about?"
I should not be rooting for Ted Mosby, but I'm fucking rooting for Ted.
I know. It took me a whole episode to realize that was Ted, and then realizing that like, look, I mean, when the whole whatever theme park that shall not be named, like the Disney trip they go on, and like you could just see Like they don't have to show a minute of that trip.
To know how bad it went.
You literally just see them pack the car and you see
Yep.
them arrive back home.
Yep.
And you know everything that happened on that fucking trip.
And you know that she ruined it for everyone the entire
when they're
time.
leaving and he's like, well, at least we got the restaurant reservations. And she's like, yep.
Yeah.
And he goes, seriously? And like it's awesome. I mean, I thought that was really well handled.
Yeah.
Because I can't believe she's not fucking divorced yet. It's astonishing.
This show definitely grew in my estimation by the time we came to the end of it. So I really liked it.
Yeah, I don't always I don't always do like tragic ennui, like
but when I do, I prefer it's FX.
Yes, but when I do, I want it to be Lizzie Kaplan and Jesse Eisenberg apparently.
Yep.
And Claire Danes as the worst person in the world.
And Claire Danes was great. She's always great. So let's see. I watched Glass Onion for the third time. Now it's on Netflix. I have not watched the fourth, but I absolutely will. Love that movie. We're going to talk about in the Patreon. Kept up with Mythic Quest, which continues to be great, of course. Finished Mayor of Kingstown, which I really like. I'm looking forward to the second season now. Continue my watch through season 3 of News Radio, which continues to be just delightful. Every time I watch that show, I'm reminded of how good it is and how underrated it is. It's like nobody talks about News Radio in the same breath as like Friends and Seinfeld and all that stuff, but it absolutely belongs there, and it's better. It's definitely better than Friends, and it might be better than Seinfeld as far as like not aging poorly, even though it has Joe Rogan basically playing himself in it.
Well, I mean, you can't like Seinfeld has the greatest advantage of these are all horrible people and you're supposed to be enjoying their misfortune. That will always age great because you'll.
And it's a lot more fun to watch a show where Joe Rogan's playing himself, but everybody's just treating him like the janitor in the building instead of like sitting Indian seat style around him while he spills pearls of wisdom.
That's correct. That is the only problem. The problem with Joe Rogan is mostly the problem with people listening to it. Yeah. I did watch Off Letterkenny, only 6 episodes as always. I kept up with Tulsa King, which I'm really digging. I think this is going to be Taylor Sheridan's year for us. I mean, he's had his year for the past like 5, but I think this is the year that
TV
the TV dudes get on board him. Yes.
Yeah.
Finally.
Which is when he'll finally count.
He'll finally get that TV dudes bump.
Yep. Good for Taylor. Overnight success.
I watched the penultimate. I've not finished Welcome to Chippendales. I think it's only 8 episodes because I don't know where they're going to go if that's episode 7. I don't know where they're going from there if that's not close to the finale. That show continues to be great and fucking dark.
Yeah.
I watched Last Boy Scout because I felt like watching Last Boy Scout, and it's still great. I finished up Star Trek Prodigy, which I can't remember. Nick, are you watching Star Trek Prodigy?
No, I told you I don't watch 3D animation.
All right, y'all should give it another shot.
Never. I'm more willing to give fucking Andor a try.
It turns out to be really good. Like it's up there with the best Star Trek. It's really good.
You're talking to a guy that doesn't even like the best Star Trek.
That's fair. No Star Trek, no Star Wars. What are you? Are you a Battlestar Galactica man? Where's your space guns and lasers come from? Nick?
My Mass Effect really, but
oh, okay, all right.
But
all right,
like that's my sweet spot. But since there's no TV about it, I guess kind of like Firefly-ish.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. You probably don't want a Mass Effect TV. They will definitely fuck that up.
Oh, they'll fuck that up completely. So please don't.
Yeah, you don't want that. Yeah. I did watch 3 episodes of National Treasure: Edge of History. I did not watch the 4th one that just dropped.
There's like 5 now, I think.
Is there 5? Oh, yeah. Maybe I watched 4. I don't know. I haven't watched the latest one, but I guess maybe I watched 4. And then Quantum Leap came back, and so I did watch the latest episode of that, and it was great as always. Les, what'd you watch?
Well, I got into this sitcom that I've been meaning to text you about, Randy. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's a remake of a British sitcom. It's called Ghosts.
God damn it.
Yeah, it's on CBS. No, after a year of you recommending that show,
it's on season 2, Les. It's on season 2.
I went back and watched past the 2nd episode of it, and you are correct. It just builds and gets better and better. They remember their rules and build on them. And not just from episode to episode. Like they'll let 3 or 4 episodes go, and it doesn't feel like Don't Trust the Bee, where they just like, did they run this shit out of order? Like, it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
They'll just let stuff drop and then like, hey, you remember when Hetty possessed that dude? Yeah. And
yeah.
They'll just
is it
go
is
for
it
it.
me, or is Jay the secret weapon of that show?
He really is.
He's great.
The running gag with him not seeing or hearing them.
Yes.
And that it's one of those things that you just assume that any sitcom is going to lose track of eventually. Like, that seems like a cute thing in episode 1, but did you really think about the amount of work that would go into this? They did.
Yeah.
And it is never not funny how many different ways they play it. Like, a delivery dude shows up that looks like one of the ghosts, and he gets super excited, and it's a complete misdirect.
Yep.
Like, he just runs through, like, oh my God, it's you. And he hugs this random delivery dude. Like, or the amount of times that he'll be in the conversation because she is translating it for him. Like, she's relaying all of it to him. But then they'll decide what plan to do, and the ghosts will say 3 or 4 more things, and she'll go, okay. And they'll all run out of the room. And it just leaves Jay standing there like, is anybody going to tell me how that ended? No? Cool. Or God, Trevor catfishing somebody, like, the occasions when they like hook up an Alexa or something and then realize like not all of the ghosts, but like a ghost can talk to the Alexa, and like, well, that's not good. Yeah. The endless weirdness of it is really good. I like how nobody knows the rules. That is, in any situation, that's never not funny to me.
I also love the ghosts messing with each other. The fact that they named it called getting sucked off.
Oh God! And when she starts to correct them, and the
is it
Wall
Trevor?
Street, the Wall Street bro is like, give me this, don't you dare. And then like later on, somebody goes to hell, and they all immediately fall into like, yeah, I can't believe he went down on us. We thought he was going to get sucked off. I thought I was going to watch him get sucked off, and instead he went down on us.
Yep.
And or they all fight over this one chair in the drawing room that has, like, for 6 minutes every day, there's a shaft of light that falls across the chair, and the ghost can feel it. And then they fight over who is going to get the shaft.
God damn it.
Yeah, it's just it's always good. Yeah, it's just endless.
See, Les knows how to pitch something to me. Now I want to watch it.
It's worth it.
Oh, wait, there's shitty puns? Well, why didn't you lead with that?
Yeah, I
That's
really
all you had to say.
it. Oh, Nick, this should sell you on it. There's an entire episode where Jay is trying to play D&D remotely with his friends, but his internet sucks. And so he decides to play D&D with the ghosts.
Oh,
only that means that his wife has to sit through the sessions and translate everything. And she hates it.
Yeah.
Like, she hates D&D.
that
like,
must suck.
That whole, like, just realizing in the episode of like what they were about to do as a plot for this episode was like, I feel seen as a nerd. Like, that's some real nerd problems there. Yeah, when like the ghost that was a Boy Scout leader in the 80s is like, oh yeah, I was super into D&D. It was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good stuff. Very happy with Ghosts. Randy, you should really check it out.
Swear to God.
Also watched a couple of movies, which we'll discuss over on next time. Avengement and Big Four, which were really fun. Nick and I also went through a bunch of Christmas movies in the Gooch week between holidays there. Christmas, Bloody Christmas, Krampus.
Yeah, Krampus was a rewatch.
Krampus was a rewatch. We also watched Scare Package and Scare Package 2 on New Year's.
Scare Package 2, Rad Chad's Revenge.
Rad Chad's Revenge. Oh my God, what a mess of a movie. But so much better than Burial, which had no werewolves. I repeat, there are no werewolves in Burial.
So it has werewolves in it, except that they're spelled WHER wolves. Werewolf fighters.
No,
which,
EHR.
Which
yes.
were fighters in World War II that Goebbels named werewolves, that renamed at some point during the war to sound scarier. But when you're on Shudder and something, it shows some chick with a gun and a uniform saying that she's fighting Nazi werewolves.
Yeah, that we're trying to move Hitler's body, like Hitler's corpse, across Russia to prove to Stalin he's dead, and you end up having to fight Nazi werewolf fighters. And it's on Shudder. I feel justified in thinking that we would have actual werewolves.
Yeah, that was
And
not.
no,
I
it's just a sad movie about soldiers. So mad.
It's like
I was
it's like
so
going to
fucking
Saving
mad.
Private Ryan, wishing that like wait a minute, so there's not mummies in this? This is bullshit. This is the worst movie I've ever seen.
Seriously. Yeah. 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 To just.
No, they're
I think
trying to
Nick
get
and I
him
were
back
like
to his
30
mommy. His mommy.
We were like 30 minutes in, and like I don't think there's going to be real werewolves. No, they could still do it. And then we're like an hour in, we're like, so the werewolves are just going to be metaphorical, aren't they?
God damn it.
Damn it. Ah.
There's nothing I hate more than metaphors.
Not for nothing, metaphorical werewolves is a great name for a band or a movie or a TV show or something.
Yes. Yeah. If you told me metaphorical werewolves played the credits theme for a Twin Peaks episode, I would believe it.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a movie made non-metaphorical werewolves.
Yes.
This movie has actual werewolves in it.
This is the last episode of TV Dude. Starting next episode, we are metaphorical werewolves.
Thank you, Cleveland. Good night. Also watched 1923, which we'll discuss. 1883, which I'm only like 2 episodes into now.
Hold on, there's a hypothetical full moon. Fuck you,
caught
that
up
was
on Tulsa
good.
King.
Yeah, fucking charlatans.
Waning on that joke. Also, watched the new Quantum Leap episode, which continues to deepen the mythology and was also a fun. Deborah Ann Wall. I mean, Baby Vampire Jessica is on there.
Oh, good. So you're up on it. Okay, I didn't want to.
Yeah. Isn't it Deborah Ann Wolf? Or am I just thinking of wolves now?
Yeah, she's a metaphorical werewolf.
She's a metaphor.
Yes.
A metaphor of Deborah Ann Wolf.
And I don't know who sang the songs, but I want to find out because they were really good.
The way they brought in Janice, what's her name? With the Kelsey? I don't remember the last name.
Carly some farmer.
No, the way they the Al's daughter.
Oh yes, Al's daughter.
Grant,
yeah. Is it Janice? I think that sounds right.
I loved that moment. I love she's like these are my bodyguards. I pay them well, and it's like Uncle Sam pays better. I love it. They brought she is now longer on the outside. Now she's in the Quantum Leap program, and I can't. That's a great status quo.
Yeah, and I saw somebody some review talking about online as like, is this they found her so quick?
Yeah,
like is this part of her long plan? Because if you were a hacker trying to get a hold of this, like the best thing would be to let them catch you and bring you to home base.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah,
and I was like, now she's in the room with Ziggy. This is a bad idea.
And the reveal of I love that they're parceling out the information. They reveal why he jumped. We still don't know why he went to her and not a Quantum Leap project, but I'm sure they have a reason for it. But we know why he jumped, and it's not to go save Sam. But you can't tell me that Janice didn't see the opportunity, and like that's part of what's going on. And like I really like all of this. I love the overarching story, and the moment to moment, week to weeks are always fun.
Yeah. Plus, there's when they go to Al's daughter and like, yeah, your dad worked at the Quantum Leap. Yeah, he saved a lot of lives and made a lot of questionable fashion choices.
I love that.
And the daughter's like, yeah, okay, fine. Dad was a freak. Yeah. It's like, yes, I just love owning the like, in the original show, throwing it out into the future where like no one will ever be in 2023 to tell me that that's not what fashion is. And now we're in 2023 going, yeah, Zardoz, what the fuck? Damn. I know that's not really the year of that, but all right. Also, I watched a couple more Welcome to Chippendales, and damn, that show just gets darker.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
and I finally just stopped because I was like, no, I really can't think of anybody's arc in the next episode that is going to get better. I think everything's just going to get worse. I think I might be good on this show.
Oh, it's good.
It's like I can go read the Wikipedia from here on who dies.
It's so good though. It's and Kumail Nanjiani is so good in it.
Yeah, I may keep it up, but damn, it got bleak there. They're fully split off. Nick just walked off to New York with Otis, and all of it.
Yep.
Then I woke up. Well, let's see. I watched some Brooklyn Nine-Nine, obviously, because we're editing on Henshin and watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I finished out The Good Fight, which ends absolutely bananas insane. Jay joins a clandestine black militant group run by Felicia Rashad. They all end up trapped in the building while white supremacists fire on the building, and it basically recreates the exploding shit intro of the show. Chum Hum attempts to buy, I think successfully buys the Democratic Party. And they run The Rock, who lays hands on the head of the DNC and heals his ankle.
I don't know if you're making this up, but I believe you are not.
No, he throws his cane away and walks for like he is healed. Yeah, it's
Wow.
insane.
Wow, wow,
It
wow.
is fucking insane. Like it's a show that already like barely gave any shits about reality.
Yeah.
And man, they just go for it. It's so
big
weird.
stretch. Oh, is there a dog in here? No.
No. Kept up on or whatever that new episode that dropped on So Help Me Todd, which I think I saw somewhere that show is produced by Dr. Phil, and I may have to stop watching it.
I
just
will
don't
say
wanna
this:
put money in his pocket.
as we go on, I'm losing interest in it.
I told Nick it feels like a training wheels show. Like when they
Yeah.
bring in writers for real television,
Yeah.
like is this a favor that Marcia Gay Harden and Skylar Aston are doing for young writers of like, you can write anything and we'll get these two pros to say it all out loud.
Yeah, because this cast and honestly, this setup is too good for the writing of the show.
No, sometimes it feels like they're about to say like dramatic conflict, and
Yeah.
I feel like, you want to go to dinner? Yes, I would, Mom.
Yeah, I was watching it and Suzanne called her from the other room. She's like, "What are you watching?" She's like, "It sounded like a soap opera." And I'm like, "Fuck, it does. It really does."
Mhm.
Like, and it's definitely gotten weaker as it goes along. And yeah,
Yeah.
Dr. Phil. Yeah, that
If
may
he's
put me off
producing,
this show.
I was like,
Yeah.
I just don't want to put money in that schmuck's pocket.
No.
But I do watch dumb shit because I watched The Princess Switch again. I love all three of those movies. They're great. I didn't watch all three again. I watched the first one. Then I watched Glass Onion also, which is fucking great. Oh my God, we'll discuss.
Yep. So good.
And I watched I Will Die on This Hill, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, last year's Netflix, technically sequel to the original.
Yeah.
That movie is fantastic. I'll die on that hill with a chainsaw in my neck and my face peeled off.
It's basically a referendum on the Halloween reboot. Like it basically just puts a middle finger towards it of like, yeah, fuck that.
The kills are amazing. Every single one of them. The opening kill is still one of the most inventive things I've seen. It's fucking great. Yeah, loved it. I recommend everybody go watch it. If you've heard it's terrible, but you have not personally seen it, other people are mostly full of shit, and you should just go watch it.
Yeah.
And that's about my TV diaries.
Nick?
Yeah, I love that Les could just dump movies onto my diary since we watched them both. Like, yeah, but I don't really want to talk about that. I'm gonna let that eat up next time. So
Yeah. I'm just trying to cut down anime, man. I watched something about being a slime, but I don't have time to talk about it because Les made me talk about Avengement.
Since we've had like 2 weeks of just like not talking about diaries, and we missed some stuff when I was still over by Les's.
I believe that's called diarrhea.
I want to talk about Troll. Me and Les watched Troll when I was still there. Like, that was one of the first things we watched.
Yes,
the Norwegian
with the baby
like, kaiju movie about this giant troll, and
oh man,
wow,
yeah, Troll's good.
That I love that when me and Les can guess what a movie's gonna do. That feels good, but it's better when they do something that's so much more insane than the thing we thought they were doing.
Yeah. Like we fully thought these characters were doing a thing, like they're like we knew what the plan was, and then they like pull a tart back, and both Nick and I went, "Oh God!" Well, like I just didn't think they'd do that,
right?
And it's something that had been given away in some of the marketing, and it still did not click.
Well, the thumbnail right now is a troll skull on like it is just like I think you can even see a pickup truck that it's on. But that really doesn't tell you anything about what and the context of the scene.
No, the context of what they've done is nuts.
It's like, oh. And then I love that it has like a environmental message of like, no, we should let it live at the end. I'm like, whoa, we are so far past that point. It is a blood debt here. Like, I think we...
Yeah. There's lots of great scenes of like a whole table of experts and one person's going,
yes.
So that's a troll footprint. And like
that's
the other 9 people are like, well, you have to leave the room because that's insane. And they're like, no, but I mean, I'll leave the room because I hear it. I hear it when I say it, but that's a footprint.
They bring a paleontologist and they show the helicopter shots of like, it's basically like the Broderick Godzilla where they're showing the big footprints. And they're like, okay, well, maybe it's a geological anomaly, or maybe it's an underground earthquake, underground like volcano system. And she looks at everyone in the room like, am I the only one that's going to say that those are fucking footprints?
Like, am I the asshole here? Like, we're all just gonna bend over backwards.
It's like they try and gaslight her the whole movie of like, no, that's dumb. Like, look, I'm not saying that it's not ridiculous and insane, but we gotta wrap our minds around a giant troll right now.
No, but people see faces everywhere. Like, yeah, no, this isn't that. That mountain winked at me.
She keeps suggesting troll shit to do, like, you know, like, let's hit him in the light, or ring bells, or like, oh shit, like he can smell Christian blood. And they're all like, what are you talking about? That's fucking fairy tale shit every time. Like and then she proves herself right every time. And
The
yet it never.
the smelling Christian blood shit is one of the weirdest things I've seen in a sci-fi horror movie in maybe ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they that is part of troll lore, I guess, and they fully go with it.
I don't know what the different smell is between a Christian's blood and a non-believer's, but also, can he smell different types of religion?
Yeah,
It's
does
like,
Protestant like I just there's a moment where like there's like a soldier with the cross on, like, oh my god, we're in a foxhole with the troll behind us, and and like you see the troll notice him, and the other two soldiers like
they
get away.
they without telling the guy, like, they're just like, hey, let's just and they just mosey on out of there and leave their
Yep.
friend to die.
Like, L'chaim, I'm out of here, man.
See ya. It's a pretty good movie. I would actually highly recommend.
Yep.
I watched some more of the Muppets while I was still at Les's. I showed him the Milton Berle episode.
Yep. And then we watched the Mum and Chance episode and some others too, Twiggy.
So like, and Les, please confirm, Milton Berle does not get in a fight with Statler and Waldorf. He just gets fucking slaughtered.
No, in the same way, yeah, the floor doesn't fight with Fred Astaire. Like, yeah, they just destroy him from the balcony. It's great.
Watched some Owl House because I was actually I watched some of that while I was over at Les's, and then I watched some of it myself because I just like that show.
Oh, we watched Avengement in the Big Four.
Avengement in the Big Four, right? Avengement is a Scott Adkins movie that's pretty good. It's just told out of order in a weird way.
They try to do a cute, like, out of chronology thing. It's just weird. They should have should just be edited back into order.
I was like, Les was telling me, like, man, this movie is really good. Why is that no one heard of it? I'm like, you're about to see why.
Give it a minute.
Just give it a minute. And it's about to lose a lot of steam for no reason at all.
And like, literally, like, it just starts going back to tell the in-between moments in the story. But every time it does it, it takes some of the momentum out of it. And just like, okay, I see how you feel like you need to explain this, but you're killing your fucking movie. Yeah, it's good, and yet not. Yeah, you know by the end exactly why you've not heard of it.
Well, also, it's good in a way of like, oh, if I had like a digital copy of this, I could cut a way better movie than like,
absolutely.
It's seriously, there's nothing wrong with it other than the order it's told in. I would just like, hey, put that part at the front of the movie where it fucking belongs.
This should be some kind of like junior college editing course project. Like, everybody's given Avengement at the start of the semester, and you have to turn in your cut.
Mm-hmm. I would do the same thing with Krampus, only add in fucking blood.
Add in blood. Yeah, there's an After Effects tutorial to just add blood into Krampus.
The Big Four, if you want, hey, do you want to know what the Night Comes for Us guy, if when he makes a comedy, what it looks like? Because this is that.
Yeah, it looks like this.
Timo, baby.
I would still, I mean, I really enjoyed the Big Four, but it is a little overlong, and it sets up a whole mythology that you know damn well Timo's not going to follow up on.
No.
And instead, I would still recommend people go watch Sweetie. You won't believe it.
Well, the problem is that it's a comedy
movie
that can't keep the momentum of its jokes up because it keeps going into an action scene because they're assassins, and Timo can't resist. He's got to make a badass action scene that goes on for so long.
And they are badass action scenes. It's the guy who made The Night Comes for Us. They're fucking fantastic. But great. Also, the movie is very long for a comedy.
Yeah, because it just stops telling jokes to do those action sequences. And then Timo will remember, oh, right. I'm not making Comes for Us. It's the other thing. All right. I watched an Egyptian movie, I think, called Mako, about these people that are trying to do an undersea dive with this ship and get harassed by a Mako shark. Is terrible. It was fucking awful.
How does that cross your eye line to even see? I don't understand.
There's a thumbnail on Netflix that was a giant shark, and I was like, "Oh, Big Blue, Deep Blue."
Got it.
I'm like, Deep Blue Sea is back on here. No, wait, that's not Deep Blue Sea. Oh, Cool J isn't in that. Hey, is that a shark movie I haven't seen? Well, that can't be right. I've watched Shark Avalanche. I've watched Shark and Saw's Women's Prison. I've seen all these.
Nick, I promise you Star Trek Prodigy is better than every one of these shitty shark movies you're watching.
It's not in 3D. They're not 3D animated, though.
Wait, if there was a 3D animated shark show, would you watch it?
No, that's Shark Tales, whatever they made.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't watch
fair.
that.
Okay, all right.
But I would watch Shark Trek or Star Trek Shark New Worlds.
What about the 3D animated version of Puppet Master?
Oh, no. I mean, I barely we watched Puppet Master because we had a free subscription to Full Moon. And we don't, there's one left we haven't watched. And
because we'd have to pay $3
we have to pay
for
$6.
Yes.
It doesn't feel like, I feel like it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's going to be a cactus. Like, it's just not going to be a better movie.
Yeah, but I'm going to think about that $6 every time I'm watching it. And like, oh, wow, now that I only waste my time, which, of course, you guys know is worthless. It has no value.
Captain Holt said we couldn't spend any money on gifts, but my time is worthless.
Oh, that is not a brag. Watch Dragon Age Absolution. Randy, you were talking about Mass Effect and how I didn't want them to make a show.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thought the same thing about Dragon Age, but then I realized Dragon Age doesn't follow one character throughout its games.
Right.
You become a character in each game based on that world. So I think that actually kind of filters, like makes it more accessible. And this one is pretty good. It focuses on Tevinter, which is a country we've never seen in the games, so that's kind of neat. Mages run the world, basically, and keep other people as slaves, like people that don't have magic. Like, hey, you don't got magic? You're shit out of luck. I can cast fireballs, so you got to do my dishes. Is basically what the and there's a good family relationship thing going on with someone's previous master is looking for them, and like the main character elf woman is like, oh, I'm just looking for they were brother and sister, they were raised together. It's like, no, I was never your sister. I was property. I was your pet. That like it's like, no, not to me, yes to you. You just don't think it. And him slowly revealing his their relationship is not what he thinks it is. Like, they keep going back in time of like, but remember the good times you had? Yeah. Actually, fast forward 5 minutes after that, where your mom beat the shit out of me because I accidentally knocked you down during that fun game we had. Oh, well, I didn't. Yeah, you didn't remember that part, did you? Well, I do. There's a unfortunate, like, obvious betrayal thing going on that they take the entire season or minisode or whatever it is to tell you, and they almost spoil it themselves as far as like the motivation behind the betrayal and why, and then they treat it like a big moment when it happens. I'm like, wait, but you already spoiled this. Why are you treating this like a big turnaround? It loses a bit of momentum. I don't know. It's okay. It's better than The Witcher Blood Origin, I think.
Okay, all right. So that is that Michelle Yeoh in
yes,
in Blood Origin? Okay. See, I was hoping that it would be good just for her.
She's
but
not
I
the
don't
main
care about
character
The
in it.
Witcher. Oh, boo.
Well, she's one of the main. It's a very ensemble cast, and they use her a lot in the marketing, and they use her a lot in the thumbnails.
Yeah.
As far as the episode and a half I've watched, she's not that important. I think that was a strategy for the marketing department to go, Michelle Yeoh's our biggest name. Let's show her in the marketing all of it, even though it's not really about. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but really Henry Cavill is, I think he pulls The Witcher above an average. Like, he's the reason that's what pulls The Witcher above things like Wheel of Time and all the other shit we watch.
So how do you think Witcher's going to do without him?
Oh, not great. Even if you were going to replace him,
Hemsworth has this?
Even if you weren't going to replace him with a diet Hemsworth, like not even Chris, you're going to get Liam. Oh God.
At least they didn't get
what's his name from Westworld? Yeah, it can
always
be worse.
From The Good Place. Who's the guy in The Good Place who was dating Jamila Jamil?
Oh, Jason Mendoza? No.
No, Liam. That was Liam.
Oh yeah.
Was it Liam?
That was Liam.
Oh man. Poor Liam can't catch a break.
No.
It was the fourth Hemsworth.
I'm pretty sure. Then again, if it's not Chris, I can't really tell them apart
What
that
was
well.
Fair.
the Paul Rudd show where he clones himself and he keeps running into like Peyton Manning and they're on like the sixth Peyton Manning or something like that.
I forgot that show.
Wow, I forgot it completely until you just said that.
Like every time, like he just keeps meeting. Like every time he meets, I think he runs into Peyton. I think it's Peyton Manning yeah, he runs into Tom Brady or somebody outside of the clinic, and like dude's on his like 6th or 7th version.
Yeah. Watched Christmas Bloody Christmas, which is a movie about a rogue killer Santa animatronic mall display. And me and Les
how much
were like,
money can you spend on set deck and do nothing?
Nothing. Man, me and Les are now going to be harder on movies even going forward, considering like we were looking and just going like, oh my god, they set decked and they did so much work.
We're clearly not going to avert our gaze from these movies. Like we're still going to stare at the same end of the spectrum, but we're going to be madder about it.
And then like seriously, I do not get how people have a good idea and then don't have another one in them. Like their idea stops. It's an animatronic Santa. Cool. What does he kill people with? An axe. Well, other than an axe.
Okay, but then it grabs other stuff. Why does Santa have an axe?
Why doesn't he like stab him with the candy cane? No. Well, okay, well, it's a robot and you see through his eyes, right? First person. Well, let's make a Terminator thing where it's like, but he's judging Christmas cheer and killing people. Like, no. Well,
just an axe, Nick.
Why make this movie then?
Are you going to have him look particularly robotic? We'll put some Christmas lights in his beard.
His beard? Why?
Why? Yeah. Most of this movie feels like it's taken up by like post Clerks 90s endless hipster discussion.
Yeah.
Like, so two characters have a long discussion in a bar about how
these two that work in a record store.
Yeah, all rock bands suck after they cut their hair. And this is like revolutionary and clever enough to be worth like 10 minutes or so at least of this time. Like
it seriously feels like one of the writers' stand-up bit got in there and like
and it
feels so like
it's really weird to make Chris Cornell and Soundgarden sucking after he cut his hair and frosted his tips after that dude's dead of suicide. Like that whole bit hits different when one of the bands you're discussing is dead.
Well, Les, I mean, obviously this is this is an 80s. No, wait, it's a modern movie. What the fuck is going on?
That's what's really weird. Yeah, all of it's weird. The two bands that they discussed to make this point are Metallica's Load album and Soundgarden's Super Unknown, both of which came out in the mid-90s.
And they have a huge argument about Pet Sematary 2.
Yes.
About whether it's better than the original. I don't know. It's seriously one of those things of realizing you don't know anything about the characters at the end of it because they've spent so long talking about fucking nothing.
Yeah, nobody learns anything. I really hated that. I'm so glad we picked Violent Night to see instead in the theater.
Violent Night. I finally saw Violent Night. It was great.
Yes.
So we should probably make that a Patreon at some point too.
Yeah, it was much better than it needed to be.
Now that has some ideas in it that sticks to, baby. Like
oh yeah, oh man, yeah. Violent Night was great.
I love the Home Alone weapons that the child builds.
Oh my god, I want a sequel to it so bad just to show Miss Claus because they tease it.
Yeah, like who's Mrs. Claus? Come on. That's my TV
casting was so good. Yeah.
Okay, that's TV Diaries. All right. Well, this is a good time.
Oh, and I rewatched Lower Decks.
Yeah.
All right.
And not Prodigy specifically.
I hate you so
much. It asked me if I wanted to watch Prodigy after, and I specifically said no.
Just a reminder, you can support us by going over to patreon.com/tvdudes. Throw us a fucking episode. In exchange, we get to pay for our hosting costs and keep our streaming services, and you get bonus content mostly each week. We did not give you any over the holidays, but we do have a bonus episode of Black Adam that we're going to release this week, along with our discussion of Glass Onion. So there'll be 2 Patreon episodes this week, and you can get both those for just $1. Not to mention, if you haven't been a Patreon before, you can get all the previous content, all of the Nicolas Cage movies they made me watch, our rundown of Tony Scott.
Man, I can't wait until the TV show that just has above jiu-jitsu where they don't use Nicolas Cage. That's great.
You're gonna be waiting a while for that one.
Arsenal. Let's do Arsenal and like with some of the characters.
Between Worlds.
No. That's on the Playboy channel, and Playboy channel's gone. So
That's
Actually,
just
without Nick Cage, there's no drama, there's no plot.
That's
that would
just
be
porn.
Yeah.
it's
Never mind.
it's just porn. Yeah.
She want me to steal the declaration. Said I wouldn't do it, but I gave it. Her daddy rich, but I'm making the payments. Loco in the head is so amazing. Every day a movie like I'm Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage, yeah. I feel like Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage, yeah. I feel like Nicolas Cage. And Nicolas Cage, yeah. She call me Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage, yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the show that they did make without Nicolas Cage, and that is National Treasure: Edge of History, which is over on Disney Plus. When they first announced this, I was kind of psyched for it because I like the National Treasure movies, despite the fact that I've seen them each maybe once.
I think I've seen them each twice. They're fun. They're really fun, though.
They're fun. They're fun. They're dumb.
They're dumb.
And the notion of like, oh, more of this sort of dumb treasure hunting thing seems good. And then they start the first couple episodes, and it's this cast of CW diverse casting that I'm like, okay, cheers to you guys for doing this, and for like the treasure is Montezuma's treasure. Like they're going out of the way to not make it like all white American history, and I'm like, I get what you're doing here, but it feels weird. It feels like a weird fit.
It's actually pretty progressive if you think about it, to have bland characters to appease a general audience, but instead of like they're all being white, like okay, but they're bland, generic, and
yes, you're 100% right.
We've achieved boring diversity.
Like we've achieved true equality.
Yeah,
because like none of these lead characters are interesting to me. The girl who's supposed to like have the puzzle sense, and she's a dreamer, and I'm like, this all feels like someone sketched out the characters and they didn't bother casting anyone for it.
Her supposed relationship with her, I guess, friend, ex-boyfriend, it is non-existent chemistry. Yeah, then the other two, I can't figure out if they're not dating or not. There's two that break up,
and then they broke up. The two friends,
but then they also wanted it to be like a joke in the first episode about whether they were on a date. And all of that, I hated all of it.
None of that works. So I felt
almost bad for Harvey Keitel here. Like, I'm sorry, there's no stunt cast gravitas enough to make this feel okay.
Even the character realize how bland each other are, because they're like, man, I am not into dating you. I'm also not into dating you. Well, let's not.
Okay, we're just gonna break up amicably in the first episode of this show. Okay.
I also have no feelings about that.
I will say that the thing that worked for me throughout is the villain, because Catherine Zeta-Jones playing the Tia Carrere character from True Lies here. No notes, perfect. Love her in this, and I love when they get in and they like lose one of their team, and I'm like, oh, we're actually supposed to kill. Like, these people aren't just monsters. They are people who like each other. Like, yes, she's an evil monster, but like, she doesn't just like throw all her henchmen away. This is like, no, this is the treasure hunting team that she's put together. And that is part of what makes National Treasure work. The villains have to be interesting too, and it has to be rival treasure teams.
I
love the entire like protecting, like, your dad was part of a team of people that protected treasures. Like, all of the contortions that they're doing to explain why we are not following the plot of the National Treasure movies.
Yes.
At all. Why is this called National Treasure? The Cartoon Network made a foray into live action for 2 series fucking 10 years ago, and one of them was basically this. And
so here is where it started working for me. Episode 3, when they introduced that they needed to steal Elvis's guitar from his secret room.
Okay,
I was like,
that's kind of great.
This is some National Treasure shit. And that third episode, it's like it's suddenly a different show. They're all working. I care about the characters a little more. It was fun.
Okay.
And then in the fourth episode, they bring in Riley Poole, who has a podcast about treasure hunting, and he becomes a part of the group. And I'm like, fuck, what are you guys doing? So essentially, if you guys have not kept watching this, episode 3 is like a completely different show, and it's the show I wanted. And episode 4
is 1 good did enough. Not get me at all.
Oh no, I was going to give up. I wasn't going to watch anymore, and I'm like, well, we're going to talk about this week. I'll watch at least second episode. Watch the second episode, and I was like, yeah, no, I was right. And then the third episode has this Elvis heist, and I was like, God damn it, this is fun. This is what I wanted. And they spent 2 episodes on I don't know what, just setting up these characters nobody cares about.
Yeah, her really wanting, like, her being a Dream Act kid that really, really wants to work for the FBI. Like, that was weird for me, and didn't like the whole pilot episode felt like a welcome to Jumanji.
Les, I really think that you need to check your internet security because someone stole from your script of Letterkenny versus Supernatural. They stole your fucking FBI like Wayne recognizing the FBI badge as fake thing because it's not signed by the right president, like or by the treasurer or whatever, like the president. I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen that. Les wrote that.
That bit is in my Letterkenny Supernatural crossover.
That was honestly the funniest thing I saw in that first episode.
It really did, like when Harvey Keitel spun his chair around, like it felt for all the world like welcome to Jumanji, friends.
It's definitely his ties to the first movie, for sure.
Let me explain why this is all tied together.
So I don't know if y'all are going to want to take another one for the team and watch these last 2 episodes, but I will say it's night and fucking day. Like the 3rd episode has them heisting Graceland.
I may just jump into the 3rd and skip
I might
the 2nd.
do that.
I did not make it through the 2nd episode. I was like,
the 2nd. There is no
when
need
you
for
said like,
setup.
I was right. That's how I was like, nope. This is exactly what I thought 2nd episode would be. Fuck this.
There's no need for all that setup.
The
Jump
2nd
right to
episode
3.
has them facing off with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah.
And they've spent another previous episode showing that this person is supposed to be, our main character is supposed to be smart, want to work for the FBI, good at puzzles, and she immediately asks her lawyer friend, hey, can you get someone arrested for kidnapping if you arrest them for another crime first? And I was like, what do you mean you don't know that? You want to be an FBI fucking agent.
Yes, yeah.
And even I know that people get arrested for misdemeanors and then get convicted for felonies all the time.
It felt like a not trusting the audience. There's a lot of that going on.
Also, the fake name, like when Harvey Keitel's like, "You found me," like, yeah, man, your fake name was I am Phasma. Like, that's not a lot of Latin. That's not even the right Latin for
but then
I
even
am.
Them going to the FBI and lying, and then like, well, they didn't believe us. We're on our own. I'm like, yeah, they didn't believe you. You gave them 2 obviously fake names, and you
sounded like crazy people. Yeah.
Even if you had told the truth, it would have been hard for them to believe, but they could have checked you on you and made sure, like, you're giving them no reason to, like...
Yeah.
It would be weird if they did trust you, but like, okay, you 2 are full of fucking shit. You're not even giving me your real names.
Well, the 4th episode, Sandusky, Keitel's character, has a secret room in his house, and Riley Poole and the lead character get stuck in there and have to smart their way out of it. And again, this is what I go to National Treasure for, not whatever the fuck they were doing in the first 2 episodes. So I'm gonna at least give it another episode after 2 in a row where I'm like, no, this is fun, but I don't know what was going on with all that setup.
Also,
and it does feel like they're just like they don't trust their audience and they're aiming younger.
They also don't know how shoplifting is treated via like, oh, well, we're getting picked up for shoplifting.
Yeah.
Have you never seen that? And she did what every person does is, oh, I didn't know I had that in my pocket. Here you go.
Yep.
And then walked away.
Yeah.
If you
like any person.
It's really not how that works. Yeah. I don't understand how they
it made them look unbelievably stupid.
Truck up. Like, why did they not get Nicolas Cage? He can't be that hard to work with. He's in 4 to 12 movies this year.
But less, he's out of debt now. With that last movie, he's officially out of debt.
Like, back a truck of 2-headed snakes up. Like, maybe it's not money, but man, he wants something.
He wants something.
So I will say this: Riley Poole is talking to Benjamin Gates in episode 4 on his cell phone, and I don't think they're setting that up just to not have Nicolas Cage in this.
But I don't understand why he wasn't Cartel, or why he isn't at least in it the way that Dean is in the Winchesters. If nothing else, like you couldn't have shot one day of him like standing by the car talking about shit.
Well, even just narrating.
He's in it like Emilio Estevez is in Mighty Ducks 2.
Yeah.
Which is not at all.
Who's that? Well, he was our coach for like the whole last season. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's no big deal. Moving on.
Well, we've lost interest anyway. All right. So let's jump over and let's talk about a show that I didn't get a chance to watch. And I don't think you got a chance to watch, but Les did.
So Yeah, Taylor Sheridan's having a hell of a year. I know the whole country has apparently been watching the shit out of Yellowstone for a few years now. My mom's been crazy about it for a while. But I don't think Randy had ever watched much Taylor Sheridan.
Apparently not in streaming services, but in actual cable, Yellowstone is the biggest big dick, biggest thing in the world right now.
Yes. It's like the Breaking Bad thing. It's crazy, yeah.
Which is weird. I don't know a single person that watches it. Oh, I suppose now I do.
I know one.
Westerns are not my genre. Obviously, Nick and I will watch almost anything horror or with a shark in it. But Westerns aren't generally my thing. Like, just because you're set in a West or in a Western does not, like, automatically.
Les, do you think that has to do with the relationship with your father? Because
absolutely.
Because I know my hatred of Westerns is definitely related to, like, my dad loved John Wayne, and I'm like...
Me watching a cartoon or anything kids were watching, and, like, any adult man that walked in the room could be like, whatever dumb shit you kids are watching, flip one channel over and find either, like, The Rifleman or some fucking John Wayne Western, and like, oh, here we go.
Not even the Eastwood ones. You couldn't even give me the Eastwoods?
Yeah, no,
Please, let's at least watch Tombstone again. Come on.
Nah. Yeah, Tombstone, Silverado, fuck all them Westerns. No. It was always either some, like, shitty McClintock thing or Anyway, so yeah, I hate Western. I grew up hating Westerns. It wasn't until I saw some kind of outlier Deadwood type stuff. That's so Yellowstone is a Western, but it's set modern. That does not grab me. Like, I don't want to see people. I grew up in fucking Paris, Texas, man. It's not romanticized for me to see people pull up in their dualies and work the land. I don't give a fuck. So I didn't really pay attention to, oh, wow, Yellowstone's big enough to do a bunch of prequels. Okay, the prequels work for me. You take the Dutton family, this huge-ass ranch in Yellowstone, set modern, and you go back to 1923. Well, first they did 1883.
Right.
Which is Sam Elliott and Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, who are remarkably better than you would think they are.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Okay. And it is like it starts out in Fort Worth. Sam Elliott and is running all these German families, and McGraw and Faith Hill and their two who are the
Just to be clear, Les, it's mustache Sam Elliott, not the weird thing they did in Justified.
No, mustache Sam Elliott.
Okay, thank God.
And he is cantankerous as fuck. And they're gonna go from Fort Worth up to eventually where Yellowstone is going to be set, and it's McGraw is the patriarch of the Dutton family that will eventually be, Kevin Costner's, I guess, his grandson or great grandson. And so they set off, and I've only watched a couple of episodes, but it's fucking awesome. Like,
all right.
It opens with Sam Elliott coming back into his house to find his daughter and wife dead from smallpox, and he has to go back outside and burn the house down.
Shit.
Jesus.
Fuck.
And is about to eat a bullet when a coworker of his walks up and is like, Captain? And is like, well, fuck it. I guess I'll lead these idiots up to whatever Oregon country. Yeah, it's fucking.
I guess that bullet will wait.
It is great. I'm really impressed with the show so far. So that's 1883. You jump forward 40 years to 1923, and they are established up in, I think it's Oregon, wherever the fuck they are. And you've jumped a generation now, and you've got Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren, and they're actually running this ranch that you've watched them, like, ride up and try to survive to get to even establish.
That's a flex.
And like, it makes this cool, like, you realize that, like, one generation of these people are dealing with, like, gunfighting and the law and horses and coaches and shit from 1880. Like, you get the two time periods. Like, you start realizing that, like, some of these characters were kids when shit was real wild, and now there's cars. Like, in 1923, there's cars and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I kind of hope I hope they do another one at, like, 63. That'd be really kind of cool. Like, jump another 40 years, because there's definitely one more to land in between if they want to keep going generationally. I hope they do second seasons of all of these. It's really impressive Western stuff.
So I hear that 1883 is for sure like a one season.
I think it's one and done. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they could, I mean, obviously they could just keep telling stories in this. It's wild.
Yeah.
Basically 1923 is Shepherd Cattleman War. these fucking sheep herders get in a fight with Harrison Ford, and it does not go well. Ford's, hey man, they're not. It's not as black and white. Like it's a lot of gray area. Like Harrison Ford is not always on the high road side of shit in 1923. Like he's on his family's side of it, but that's not. I mean, one of the shepherds takes a shot at his kid, and they're not certain which one, and they're all lying about who. Well, we didn't know he shot. I don't think he was really trying to shoot at your kid. Like, yeah, no, he lowered a rifle at my son and fired it, and they leave all of them. Every fucking shepherd they round up in the courts of that argument, tied to trees, sitting on their horses, and they ride off.
Oh man!
I mean, like hanging nooses tied to their horses,
shit.
with their hands tied behind their back.
Oh my god!
And Ford looks at him and is like, "Y'all figure it out or don't." Right the fuck away,
man. Well, after Tulsa King, I am definitely in for seeing more of this guy's stuff.
And Sheridan's a fucking bad. I still cannot believe that he's Hale, like he's the idiot politician brother in Sons of Anarchy. Like, to look Taylor Sheridan in the face, you'd think, yeah, man, that guy probably played some ball in high school. I bet he was a good guy at a keg party. I could even see him being like a finance bro or a business major or something. But if you told me that he was the English major that would like bring a tear to your eye with some kind of family drama, death, romance, like he fucking will. Like, watch out. It's hardcore.
Yeah,
so yeah, 1923 is worth watching. If nothing else, the stunt casting. I can't believe Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford haven't been a couple before. They're amazing together.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch this. The only thing was holding me back is I want to watch. I at this point, after Tulsa King and Mayor of Kingstown, I'm like, fuck, I got to give Yellowstone a try. I like Costner. I like Sheridan stuff.
Yeah.
I would start at 1883. I had a hard time getting. I've still not really gotten into Yellowstone, and I think getting into the backstory of it is going to work better.
Well, maybe just the deadwoodness of it in the time period of the period piece might be
so 1883 Fort Worth. They get to Hell's Half Acre in Fort Worth, and
Sorry, is this called Hell's Half Acre?
Yeah.
What a great
and
name!
It's very Deadwood. Like,
yeah, that's fantastic.
Like every question Tim McGraw asks is just worse and worse. Where the guy's like, your family's meeting you here. You shouldn't bring your family here. You should go to Dallas. Well, here's where they're like, well, do you recommend a good hotel? Is it just you? No, my family's here. You shouldn't have your family here. Quit saying,
you said
what's
that.
The policy? What's the policy on guns in this town? Oh, you should have one. But if you draw it, you better know how to use it. Like, I mean, like the first thing that happens when he gets to Fort Worth, somebody pickpockets his wallet, and before he can even deal with it, somebody else pickpocket, and the whole street attacks the dude. Like 4 or 5 people get shot while Tim McGraw is trying to walk off with, just trying to walk off with his wallet.
Oh my god!
Like, it's nuts, man. It is very Deadwood. I'm enjoying the shit out of it so far.
Now I'm just picturing wives with babies, like, and just waiting for a pickpocket to draw down and fucking like everyone's waiting for an excuse to fucking smoke a motherfucker.
Like the baby draws.
Goo goo, motherfucker.
This is definitely going on my watch list in the next few weeks.
Yeah,
I definitely want to catch up.
You convinced me.
If you've ever seen a Western that you liked.
Yeah, and I have.
I wouldn't say if you like Westerns, because I generally don't. But if you've ever seen one that appealed to you, if you're not wholly against the genre.
I shouldn't judge it to the standard, but Yellowstone, if it could be anything, even just a justified light, man, I could really go for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, nothing's really hit that justified.
No, I'm looking forward to City Primeval. I don't know if that's this year or next year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that will wrap it up for us this time. We will be back next week with more, and until that time,
TV Dudes out.
TV Dudes out.
TV Dudes.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV Dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.